Welcome to the questions and responses for shoulder injuries part 1. Yeah, let's get into this. Okay, question 1 from Fisher. Hey, Dr. Bergman, do you know of any good chiropractor around Sulphur Springs, Texas? My right arm is losing strength fast. Burning in the shoulder and arm, sometimes my neck as well. I'm 46 if it matters. 46 means you're still a kid. We're supposed to go to 120. And there's nothing on your body more than 7 years old. Sulphur Springs, I don't. And it's very, very hard to find a corrective chiropractor. Use our 7 questions, and it's real basic, or a good chiropractor. Do they take an x-ray? Number 1, you got to see what you're working with. Do they take a second x-ray to document they are actually corrected what they found in the first x-ray? And I'm thinking that would be basic common sense for anyone. Find the problem, show me you fixed it. And then when you're looking at arthritic changes, do they work on post-surgery patients? Because that denotes a level of skill. And obviously they work on seniors and kids because a lot of doctors are sports chiros. Okay, well, what about the rest of the planet? Okay, so just they only need to say yes to 5 of the 7 questions, and then you've got a good chance to have a good chiropractor. Now, losing strength, burning in the shoulder and arms, sometimes my neck. Burning, electrical, sharp, shooting, numbness, tingling, those are all neurologic symptoms. You cannot rehab the shoulder unless you're correcting the cervical thoracic spine. And that cervical and thoracic spine sit on the lumbar spine. And you could have an unstable pelvis too. So you want to get the entire system stressed. Because remember, you've got that automatic nervous system. One part keeps you alive under stress, and that's the sympathetic or fight or flight. The other part regenerates tissue. That's the parasympathetic. Parasympathetic are resting, digesting, and repairing. Half of it's located in the upper cervical aspect, in the brainstem. So this is hugely important that you look at the burning has a nerve compromise or neurogenic. So this way, use our 7 questions, find a good chiropractor, and if they have any questions on how to correct what they've seen on the x-rays, they can contact me, and I work with any chiropractor, anytime, anywhere. I've actually met some really cool chiropractors from Norway and Sweden and Iceland. I mean, and Belgium. I mean, just these are real docs. They really care. They're amazing. Question 2 from Tony C 2570. Hello, anybody. Do you know what this issue could be? I could do push-ups with no problem, can hardly bench press more than the bar because my right shoulder hurts, but feel nothing when I'm doing a good amount of push-ups. Also, I could do overhead presses, no problem. It's just the actual bench press. And I can do incline presses fine as well. Absolutely. So when you look at this, when you're doing push-ups, your arms are pretty much here, not here. So I would suspect absolutely a distorted labrum. And because when you're doing bars, your shoulders go up and you're typically laying down. Now, when you're when you're supporting your weight on the gravity or on the ground doing a push-up, you're tightening up all of your shoulders. So it literally pulls the shoulder down when you're doing a push-up. When you're laying down, the shoulders are out of the presence of gravity and they'll move up slightly, just the shoulder girdle themselves. And so just that position of gravity, when you're laying down doing a push-up, your shoulder girdle is tight. When you're like this, the shoulders can move up slightly. So look for a cervical issue, distorted labrum issue, possibly rotator cuff issues as well, because it is absolutely the position that you're in that's going to change it. So once you identify the nerve supply, so cervical, thoracic, and then you can also check for the strength of the rotator cuff, because you may see a decrease, particularly in supraspinatus, which does the first 15 degrees of abduction. Also, when you're looking at the shoulder, just for the heck of it, when you're abducting it, it should be moving out smooth like that. If it moves up in a slight fashion, that's going to clue you into an abnormal position labrum, where it's a little labral distortion. But get checked out by a good chiropractor looking at the cervical and thoracic spine, and you're going to find the source of this abnormality. Question 3 from Susan Rodas, 7096. I have a full tear. I'm in lots of pain. My neck even hurts. Is surgery the only option? It's interesting. A full tear, it depends on where. If it's a full tear of the labrum, just think of this. If you've ever cut your skin, of course you have, you cut your finger chopping tomatoes or whatever. How do you heal it? Well, you approximate the tissue and then the body heals it. So that full tear, if it's in a muscle that's like a completely torn biceps, surgery is going to be pretty much the only option. But also, where are they getting the information from a full tear? They're probably getting it from an MRI. And inflammation and body position can distort that image. The computer is going to get you a pretty picture, but it might not be the actual one. Now, I've had hundreds of patients come to me and say, yeah, complete tear of the supraspinatus. And I'll go in there and I'll check the supraspinatus action while I'm palpating the muscle. And I'll see that muscle is contracting. So they were misdiagnosed. So get to a good chiropractor that's going to do a set of x-rays of the cervical and thoracic spine, have them run you through a number of tests to see if there is a full tear. Do not believe the MRI completely. It wasn't chiseled in stone on, the mountain that Moses was on. Question, always question. And that's what I do all the time. And plus, surgery, unless you're going to fix the problem, I wouldn't recommend it. First, you've got to look at the cervical spine, because if you have loss of curve in the neck, lateral deviation, forward head carriage, and that's compromising the vascular supply and the nerve supply to that area, and they do an operation, that operation is not going to be successful. So you've got to restore everything first, and then by restoring the blood supply and nerve supply, if whatever you've torn, because you say you have a full tear, I just don't know where, by restoring the normal position and motion, you can approximate that tissue, and then the tissue can regenerate, because the tissue that you torn is alive, more than likely. And I'm guessing it's going to be the supraspinatus tendon or the labrum. All of those can heal if there still is a connection. Now, question 4 from the Hungry Travelers. With the weight exercise you mentioned towards the end, I'm too afraid that it would pull my arm back out. It's that unstable. I have limited range of motion when extending my neck. Big clue there. Where do I start? I use a towel 3 times a week for 10 reps to work on the range of motion, but I'm assuming that isn't enough. Good assumption. Just started back with a chiropractor after 1 month. You're on the right path. Okay, but let's look at this. You're describing completely that there's some kind of neck problem, and that neck is connected to the thoracic problem. So you can't just use, well, my neck doesn't hurt, it's fine. No, 90% of the nerves come out that spine. There's no pain fibers. So you have to get an objective analysis. This means an object. You've got to get somebody taking an x-ray, taking a stress x-ray, taking a front x-ray to see that relationship of the cervical spine and thoracic spine. Because if you have some kind of lateral deviation, forward head carriage, you are never going to restore the shoulder unless you restore the blood supply and nerve supply. So get an objective analysis from a good chiropractor that's going to assess it. And if you need a help with the type of x-rays that I would recommend on you, it's the x-rays on our Dr. B VIP site, where we're looking at the entire structure. We're looking at the lumbar, the pelvis, the thoracic, the cervical spine. We're taking bending films of the lumbar, stress films of the neck. And why are we looking at the lumbar when you're talking a shoulder? Because it's connected to the thoracic area. You got to look at the entire structure in order to understand the force loading and adaptation to that. And then your body has the best chance to heal. But you are describing a neck problem, and I'd find out why that neck is the problem, because it could be lateral deviation of the lumbar, compensation of the thoracic or cervical spine. Question 5 from Tough Tessie. Oh, Tough Tessie B4649. Tough Tessie. I like your name. My husband had surgery on his shoulder and they anchored the labrum. It's now torn on the underside. Can he do the weight exercises? I wouldn't recommend it right now. And this is super, super common when people that have had their shoulder operated on and then it tears again. I think that the statistics is like 50 to 70% it re-tears. So when you're looking at this, they never fix the original problem. We've got to look at the cervical spine, thoracic, lumbar, the entire structure. But if you have a lateral deviation or forward head carriage of that cervical spine, and that can only be identified on a good posture analysis with a good set of x-rays, static and stress x-rays, then by correcting the thoracic and cervical spine, then you're restoring the nerve supply to that area, then you can start to rehab it. But I wouldn't recommend any rehab exercises until you restore the nerve supply. This means you have got to get to a good chiropractor that's going to assess that and find the problem and then do a series of adjustments and then take another x-ray to show the problem corrected. Question 6 from May Rye Sales 6391. Help, I'm in so much pain constantly. I have an appointment with an ortho coming up. I already know what they're wanting me to do, like always a steroid injection. Yeah, we'll stop there for a second. This is a long question. A steroid injection, they say you can only do 3 of them. Why? Because they destroy the joint afterwards. Now, steroids are great. It will reduce inflammation. However, when you understand inflammation is a healing process of the body, and no one is suffering from steroid deficiency, your body already produces steroids, okay, if you need them. But this is an artificial that limits and it literally damages the structures in there. It will shrink the swelling, but it's just insane. Then you go on to state, that's a big negative for me. I'm with you. It's a negative for me too. It's a negative for humans. I don't take medications. They said it was severe, something I don't remember, but she said that it's arthritis. But like you said, I also have neck and back injuries. I was wondering if and when you'll be in TJ, and if you still have your office there. I'm in Otay, not far from the border. Is there a number I can call and talk to you, or is there someone to make an appointment? I'm really tired of these doctors out here that don't do nothing but want to give you drugs. I'm with you 100%, 100%. We're in an insane system that uses chemicals that do not restore function, but they alter your symptoms. And that just doesn't make any sense. I do have an office in Tijuana, Mexico. We're at the Grand Hotel. My number is going to be below this, but it's literally, I have a California number, and that's 714-962-5891. Give them a call, and they'll hook you up, and we'll get you all checked out. I also have the office in Huntington Beach. And I teach and educate people in Bangkok, Thailand 3 times a year. So, but I'm in Tijuana 2 days a week. I'm in Huntington Beach 2 days a week. But no, I'm with you. It's such a weird system. I mean, 100 years from now, they're not going to be looking at, wow, you guys produce so many drugs to alter physiology. No wonder you had a healthy population. Right. The more drugs don't make you healthier. Now, if your question wasn't answered here, and that last question was dangerous, and God bless you all for just questioning and always question. Your body is made in the image and likeness of God. Your body is self-healing and self-regulating. That means you don't need any outside-in influences. You just got to figure out what the heck the problem is, restore the blood supply, nerve supply, and metabolic responses, then your body can regenerate. That's the best chance.